Hello, hello, dear RGL, everyone around. I am your Retro. The funnest of times where I'm going to play some Link to the Past Randomizer on some pretty silly flag. Because you know what? You know what? I love you, and I love to spoil you. So we're going to just torture ourselves a little bit. This is definitely not going to be your average walkthrough Hyrule. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this started, shall we? I am hoping I got everything out of my system before I started. Because I suddenly had a rush of not feeling well, so... Link to the Past, Rando, indeed. Welcome, one and all. It is good to see you. This is our annual RGL Marathon where we go ahead and raise money to cover server costs and various other little special things for the community around the year. So if you have anything extra this holiday season, we would really appreciate a donut or two. Exclamation point donate in the chat for you if the mods got that. We still have plenty more on the schedule for you, and it seems like it's expanding. So you know what? We got lots of content for the next few days for you, so it is good to have you here. And I'm going to ping that real quick. There we go. Now I actually remember to do things. Okay. So as you see, this is not the normal Link to the Past music in the slightest. This is from one of my favorite racing games of all time. This is called an MSU pack, which MSUs are really cool because they allow you to change the game music without having to worry about keeping yourself in a just, you know, kind of boring hole. MSU files are really cool. There's tutorials on how to do that on the internet for you. Most of the soundtracks and OSTs for the MSUs you're going to find are Twitch and YouTube safe for VODs. There are not very few exceptions. They are in the minority for ones that are not cozy for VODs. So yeah, we are not using one of those. I need to figure out my new name in Katakana and Hiragana. Oh, this is my old name. Anyways. I hope you are all ready for a good time. I am ready to go through pain and suffering here, and here we go. 3, 2, 1, blast off. Boots are in the Dark Palace. Wow, what a hint. You're so nice. I appreciate you so much. That is a color palette for the ages. I love the color, but it doesn't bring a sense of dreariness to Hyrule in the rains. Kind of weird. That is a big, giant, whopping pile of money. We start off with a sword, but we do not start off with boots in these flags, because, you know, suffering is part of the actual MO here. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and refill my magic here, since you are not guaranteed magic drops in many places besides the... Ooh, bomb. Bombs are incredibly important early game for checks, so we're gonna hope for more drops, honestly. Having early bow kind of trivializes things if you can find ammunition for it. Oh, 8 bomb drop. Let's freaking go. This was totally worth the distraction. An 8 bomb drop brings us up to 9, which will cover us for the majority of the early game. One last trip down here. And a full 10, nice. Let's get a move on, shall we? Gonna take care of Sword Guy, because he's always gonna run into us. We will remember to actually pull that, and nothing happens, so... I guess that tree just doesn't want to be bothered. You know, it's fine. Some trees just want us to leave them alone. I guess that means we need to just branch out and go experience new things, huh? Hey, buddy. Okay, buddy, you missed. I gave you a free hit, and you missed. Excellent. Now that is actual just joy right there. Key for this. Please don't tell me I have regular keys on. That would make me extremely sad. I love playing with Key Sanity. Key Sanity is actually one of my favorite modes in this game, so... If this is just regular Nacho Hunt, I'm gonna be extremely sad. These were the old settings that I had since I was in a hurry to go to bed. So I used the ones from a couple months ago when I last played this game. And I'm hoping they were set up the way I wanted. Nothing there. Or are these like any keys? I'm getting keys with no pop-ups, and that's telling me that I might be sharing keys here, which is... Oh boy. One more tree joking, you'll log off. I mean... Should I is the question. I'm gonna sit on that one a bit. I'm gonna sit on my stump and we're gonna figure out whether we want to make any more tree jokes or not. Okay, we're gonna mute that. Because I enjoy listening to Snowboard Kids MSU. A lot, actually. Stump Kid is afraid to leave his stump. Look, that's why they give him the nickname Stumpy, okay? It's not like he can go splitting his trunks around or anything like that. It's like he carries a sword around like he's actually Trunks, you know? Shrug? So yeah, we're gonna vibe for a little while here. Pretty free early game it feels. So this music is from SBK 1 and 2. I am pretty sure they didn't include Plus. And they definitely didn't include DS, which is DS is actually hot trash. So, yeah. That is the game that ruined the franchise entirely. And it will forever be remembered in history as such. Kind of like how Days of Ruin was like the end of the Advance Wars franchise, which is another favorite of mine. Get out of my way. Like, Days of Ruin was so unique and like too realistic for most people, I feel, so that's why they decided to just not... Ooh, more bomb. That's why they decided to just not continue with it, and instead they went and reimagined it as codename Steam, which was different, for sure. Did you get out of my way? Half magic. Ooh. I guess we're just having free game now. The color palette swaps are interesting here. We are watering around. We are walking around in cherry Kool-Aid. I'm gonna have to remember, since this looks like this is shared keys, to actually make sure I grab all the key drops, or things will get kind of ugly later. Yeah, Bob. We have the Quack spell. Quack might be useful later, definitely not now. Moving on past that. If this is actually shared keys and me not having my key sanity on, this is going to make things really interesting because I don't really run with this particular set. And if it is, I apparently ran it a few months ago and didn't remember. Shrug? Okay. I guess so. Alright, what's on the overworld here? Nice little cozy song. No, I'm not. You can't prove it. Smile. Critter. Critter only has $1 though. Big sad. I don't want to take his lunch money. He needs it for food. No, I'm not. You're both crazy. That's Bombos. That's potentially ominous. Okay, here's the real question. Are entrances randomized? Okay, so we don't have retro caves on it, looks like. Or maybe we do and I just don't know it. Oh. Doesn't change the facts. Oh, so you think, friend. So you think. Alright, so we got ourselves the blue sword, which is going to be really nice, especially early on for a lot of damage. It's a very big upgrade from the plastic Tonka truck. Okay, so maps and compasses are shuffled out of dungeons, but keys aren't? What did I make for myself? Sleep deprivation is a hell of a drug, folks. Don't be on it when you're making randomizer flags for yourself later in the day. I guess since we're not sure if these are set to randomize entrances for retro caves or not. Check out. Nice, happy snowboard kids music. East. Okay, we are doing key sanity. Okay, big key of Eastern. But small keys are pulled. That's very interesting, I think. This is definitely like a more in-depth version of key sanity. And it is going to remember your key locations for needing to grab smalls for other places, so if you shuffle those around, then you're kind of in trouble. God, I love Snowboard Kids music so much. It's so peaceful and chill. Unless you're in Ninja Land. Ninja Land is hell. That is a junk cave. Alright, retro cave check and nothing else besides that. Yeah, I don't think they're turned on personally. Otherwise, I probably would have found a retro cave by now. Keyword probably. Chicken. Wall chicken. That's actually pretty good timing for a first bottle. Opens up this kid next door. But everyone loves a good wall chicken, just like wall meat in Castlevania. That's probably where that originated, actually. We're already at 6. It's actually pretty fast early. I've got backups we can play in case things run really quickly, but I'm not expecting them to. Wait, retro cave check. This one usually isn't. That one's almost always his house. So anyways, into south half of Hyrule. The only thing here would be to check the library, see if anything's interesting on the shelf, and then move on to the maze game. Yeah, it's definitely not. I think it's faster to go do this than potentially have to reclimb just to go and do the same thing. I'd rather do it this way, personally. Everyone's got their own style of play, though. Some people will just check the item over here and then nope out. It's all a gamble. Oh, that was a great choice. That was a great choice indeed. Alrighty. Head into the other part of South Hyrule now. We're gonna hopefully get some money out of this particular loop of items for Overworld, so that way we can actually afford to go up that way to go take advantage of those flippers. Oh. Bird went like zoom zoom, and all of a sudden you're like ducks your head, and all of a sudden Bird's like crashes into the pillar. We're getting a lot of early money here too, weirdly enough. Which works for me, because this gives us enough to access the majority of the game with it. Save the fishy. Fishy needs a new home. So we're gonna go give Fishy a new home. And hopefully not get bullied. Whoa, okay, Crab. Okay, Octorok. Okay, buddies. Alright, that's a little sus. Move. Oh god, move. No. Ah! Oh, we made it. Fishy saved. Worth, even if the item was trash. We saved the fish's life, and everybody can be happy now. That was some great dodging, honestly. Just like I dodge every last Final Fantasy randomizer race. Smile. I still have no idea what these flags are that I made for myself. I'm not getting any strong hints of anything right now. You can hit rocks with a beam. That's kind of cool. That is kinda neato burrito. Alright, so we got a bomb cave right here. So the little funny story about this particular cave, well, getting hit by a crab's not that funny, but this cave right here is known as my house. Why? Jump in here real quick and we'll find out. Sleep well, A4. Thanks for all that fun you gave us earlier. So this is the ice cave. Ice cave is what's known as my house because my house has pretty garbage circulation during the winter and during the summer, so it gets really cold in here for no reason. So that's why that is my house. And so we bombed a door for getting into my house, and we found another really hype find, actually. Moon Pearl is required, so we got ourselves some nice cozy things today. Yeah, to everybody that did Stardew earlier, thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate your multiple hours of really hilarious fun. And I hope you all sleep well when you get there. For everyone staying up with me, I appreciate you greatly. For everyone that passes out during me, I am not surprised, but I am gonna shame you anyways. Smile. Why am I doing this? Oh. I'm gonna get one of those for later. Grabbing a Venus Queen of the Fairies, like, upgrade. Okay, we are dealing with key sanity. Again, at least for big keys. We are doing okay now? I lost my other train of thought, but it probably wasn't as relevant as, like, the fact that we're, like, doing okay for ourselves so far. Yeah, lots of love. Like, everyone being here this weekend has just made me, like, so freaking happy to do stuff every night. I ended up having content for most of the evenings and overnights for this particular marathon, so it's happy to have me, like, showcase everything for free. I really have a good time here. We're just gonna go ahead, not save quit out, and we're just gonna go ahead and swim down here since we're not fake flippering. Just easier that way. The key to Hera. And a hammer. Massive. Okay, what do we have in our bottle? Just carry. You know what? I'll keep that. I'll come figure out what that is later. The waterfall fairy in there will give you a random item in your bottles whenever you throw one in. But since I like my bottle contents, I'll test my luck later if I remember. Like, worst case, you check waterfall fairy, and then if you don't like the contents of it, that's when you swim down to potion shop and load up on those. I don't have any sort of movement tech right now, so we're just kind of bulldozing our way through all of those. Oh, that's vicious! Okay, required Zora. I guarantee you this is not a plando. If this is a plando, I would have probably loaded myself up far more than this early. Sometimes you just get a jet seed. Faster to save quit out. Alright, so options: going to Death Mountain or going to Eastern. No, we can go to Dark World and then... I think we can just figure it out from there. Yeah, we have Dark World access. That's the slightly slower routing of it. And by slightly, I mean a lot, but, you know. Any access is better than no access at all. I mean, that is really funny in all fairness. There's nothing like getting a good smile and a nice little, like, very friendly, polite, not serious jab at somebody. That just keeps things, you know, fresh and lively with the banter and the commentary, so, you know, good thing. Alright, so we have a really long entrance into Hyrule for Dark Realm. I don't have Thieves big, otherwise I would actually consider spending not keys there. I do like the palette swaps though. Palette swaps have been pretty cool. Alright, so we're at least neutral on keys, so that gives us nothing but checks now, so that's good. That's very good. By the way, progress update on last night. Ooh, we're +1 on keys. Update on last night, I got to almost level 10 on that character. I turned in the quest that we got, and I was level 8 after that, and after we finished up that, I went and wandered around some more and got to almost level 10. And for those that didn't see that particular last-minute addition to the schedule, you should totally go check that out, because that was a fun couple hours we spent together. That was another... I'm gonna get rid of these. Or we're just gonna accidentally get grabbed by that for some reason. I don't know. It's fine, we're doing the time warp again. That was another one we got. I'm gonna borrow that key. I don't have fire rod, so we can't continue on. We're just gonna go back and backtrack. I think that was overall an okay Skullwoods check. Nothing really hyper relevant around it. That was one swing too many, but that's fine. Second bottle. We got lime Kool-Aid. Tasty. Very uncommon flavor of Kool-Aid. So good though. It's very like mild and refreshing. As long as you don't overdose it with sugar. Oh baby, instantly worth. Insta-worth. That is so good. One of the, probably like the most useful items in the game. Followed by one of the more niche items in the game, but not a bad item. I'm liking this Thieves front so far a lot, actually. Big Thieves front. Like, the shovel's nothing to really write home about, potentially, but, you know, the rest of it was pretty good. And I have what I call the shot hook. The thing that goes boing and makes everybody either die or freeze for the most part that aren't bosses on it. Huge value of that check. We need to find the Thieves big to go back in there. How did I hit the pin button on that? Automatically erased it until I got the key. Alright, we have a shop check down here too. The only thing we have north right now is looking at what the heck's in Bumper Cave, which requires Magic Cape to really get into. And isn't really relevant right now. Ooh. We got Bacon Sword. Delicious bacon wrapped sword. Able to disperse all the justice you can possibly want. Now that we've taken those jumps down, we cannot get back up to north side unless we go through the portal again, so... Until we hit the east side of the map, anyway. That's fine. I don't mind extra health, honestly. Oh, totally. Like, shoutouts to EBC specifically for doing all of our YouTube stuff and uploading all of the VODs for our wonderful pieces of history there. You can totally give him a follow for that. He just absolutely deserves it. Holy crap. EBC is friend, not food. Unlike Tyros in Final Fantasy 1, Tyros are friend, not food. But their cousins, T-Rex, the blue ones, those are food, not friend. Why am I making a bunch of Final Fantasy Randomizer references? I haven't played that game in 5 years. I went out on a race win, so I am 100% like just comfortable with never doing that again. Carries an entire YouTube channel. That's funny. Alright, gonna drop a couple bombs here, grab 5 items. One of which is the blue toenail. What happens when you stub your toe? So 2 smalls, not like hyper exciting, but relevant because this just shared keys. But yeah, shoutouts to every one of my companions that are here on this journey this weekend. I'm gonna mark that down. There you go. Everybody is worth a good follow. Except for me, what are you doing with your life if you follow me? Yeah, the entire team is very happy that you're here as we're sitting here a half hour in. Where the catfish? Catfish swim back down, maybe? Or catfish into DDM also works. I think I like that play a little bit more than an Eastern dive right now, since we don't have Eastern Spanky. Nor do we have Lamp, so that's kind of an annoying set of checks. I'll take it since we're kind of low. Ow. Also, like, extra special props to anybody that can actually stomach Shaq Fu. Oh, goodness. Anything relevant in here? A key. That's worth a buy, honestly. In there for that. Oink. Question is, can you buy more than that? This one. Oh, you can. Eat. Preach the good word of Shaq Fu. Aw, dang it. Oh, jeez, no. Insert Michael Scott. No, no, please, God, no. Kind of funny, I was playing Warcraft and one of the NPCs in one of the neutral areas actually does the Michael Scott scream. Another NPC set also does the bank routine from South Park where I think a Stan puts all his money in there and it just disappears. Okay, so we're halfway done with this, dude. I guess I was gonna swim backwards, but... Or was I gonna save quit out? Yeah, I think I said I was gonna save quit out. Dark Death Mountain's pretty hype of a check, and we have Era Big Key anyways. Did I not mark off Sanctuary as checked? I'm not gonna lie, small keys coming out of shops though is like probably the best value you can really get out of your money after a certain point. Because otherwise you're just spending it on potions occasionally and it's like not exciting. Critter? Oh, no critter. Bad word of pit. Yeah, you do. You should really feel ashamed of yourself, but I know you won't. There's a reason that's not called Pit Fighter. There's every reason why it's called Shit Fighter. It's like some things you just straight up don't give to people. Like, I know some hyper, like, SNES jank that I played growing up that I would never, like, want to play again. But if I was really, like, annoyed or upset with somebody, I would probably unleash them with things like that. There is some real bad licensed quality crap on the SNES. Okay, top's worthless. Inside. Worth. Okay, so we'll take 1 out of 2. And we have Hammer, so approaching Hera from the east is actually a decent play. Now, do I have good hints on is the real question. So Ganon's tower key requires a glove. That's a chin scratcher for a little bit anyways. Yeah, I think that's like a prerequisite of actually giving somebody like the most abominable of games is that you've actually played them yourself to know they function and you can actually play them. But it still doesn't feel good. Alright, so I'm climbing back up to the top here to actually avoid all the rocks that are falling down just so I can fall closer to the side, which is a decision to make. It's not a great decision for your time, but we're actually ahead of schedule in this seed by a lot, so sometimes you just roll seeds that are really, really fast and they're just jet seeds. Sometimes that's just how it is. I'm gonna have to climb this twice, actually. You know what? I'm gonna do that. Let's route it like this. Because normally you would take the pit drop and then do the 7 loop, right? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do things a tiny bit different here. Get hit by a dead rock. I'm gonna go into this cave here. Spiral cave without boots sucks. Here we are. I'll take money still since you can buy keys with them in this, dude. Alright, so we're sitting pretty. We can charge through pretty much any dungeon the moment we actually get the big key for it. In most dungeons case anyway. See, now we're gonna go ahead and do this. We're having a big whopping 7 checks right here. Unlike the flame broiled whopper, which is unfortunately depressing at this point in our lives. Rude. Stop out. Oh, okay, I can't do much with that actually. 30-10 key. 30-11 now. Haha. You can buy more now. Let's go. That being said, I don't really plan on doing that unless I absolutely have to again. The fact that it's available and that's how this seed ended up being is really interesting and fascinating to me. So we're not even an hour in and we're like just cruising through this game. Worst case, I'll bring out something else to stall in the meantime. I got plenty of SNES games we can play, so don't worry. Get away from me, you vile creatures. Alright, we can't do basement. But we get Linda's Castle, which is one of the best songs in the game. Art container and... Yeah, that's one fact that's accounted for. Rookie numbers. I forgot, I'm one off because I didn't mirror back. Here we go, now we're fixed. I'm just kind of vibing with the music here. This game is very cozy for OSTs when you're using something awesome like Snowboard Kids. Why is that information you would want to look up is the real question. We have a nacho piece in a sage's closet, which means we haven't checked RGLove for number 12 at this. A number 12, 2 number 9s lodge. I don't know how it goes. I had to make the reference, but I don't remember the entire everything that he orders. Alright, buddy, you can move yourself and not bounce me out of the arena more than once, thanks. I understand you don't want to die, but you know what, you could at least be honorable and let me into the whole thing. Thanks. Blue panda. Okay, absolutely nothing of value really up here, so let's get out of here. We've got other places to check. I think the mirror was probably like the only thing that was really relevant there. Maybe I'm just not remembering things, but you know, that's how I see it. We know Bombos is at Aga 1, which I am terrible with Aga Tower Darkroom. So I'm not really, like, keen on actually going and doing that. Okay, that's a very specific pixel you can't do that on. So I guess now we just do South Loop again. But this time it'll park us right near the big key wherever the island is for Ice Palace. Besides, I don't have Fire Rod to really deal with the entrance for Elwoods again, so there's no reason to consider that at all. Yeah. Now that tree has the sniffles. We're making trees sick, time for them to just straight up wither, I guess. I guess now we can do a check to get ourselves some information up. It would be nice to have boots here, though, to actually make this a little better of a scenario, but can't have nice things. You die for that. Oh yeah, those are dark rocks, we can't touch those yet. Yeah, I want to get that character to level 10 so I can, like, just have it at a nice round level, you know? Because level 10 is where all the druid fun starts and you start learning your much. If I remember right, anyways. I didn't play much of Alliance back in the... this was not worth it in the slightest. Alright, so onwards, back in the direction we came. We're gonna go ahead and do the other south loop that we missed earlier, because we didn't have mirror for it. This gets us pretty much the entire overworld done at this point though, so we need to just pick a direction and dive in it. The game is not being like hyper interested in giving us a proper first direction for a dungeon. I did Hera because I was up there. And that's all the only reason I did that, actually. I'm not gonna say no to that. That's better than the usual trash that's there. Get absolutely destroyed, dude, by a bush to the face. I guess that means you were just tag teamed by the bushwhackers. Got nothing? Alright. You win this round, I guess. The one use in the game for the shovel that you have to use the shovel for is worth BP. Ugh. I don't have a way in there. That is not relevant right now, but it will be very soon as soon as I find a way in. Luke and Butch. Yep. That was the old days right there. Okay, tracker, so what am I missing that I would not have for Swamp Palette? The big key? I mean, that's one check. Trying to figure out my options here, and guess we'll see what this big key is over here. Bomb shroom. I hate those things. Pod, okay. Alright, game. I guess we will take the bait. What happened? Like, we can full clear it. It'll just take a little extra time because I kind of I kind of know Pod's dark rooms enough to actually be able to push through them, but it's still like not fluid for me, so it's a little bit rough around. So we'll go through Pod because we can just buy keys, but yeah. I think I remember the reason why I made this flag set. It's because I was making this for, geez, it was either October or November's marathon for last year. The submission didn't get in, and I didn't need it for a backup, so it just kind of like sat there for all this time. And now I'm just reaping the benefits of whatever the heck I made. And that's just kind of how it went. So these flags are like 4 months old. Oh god, I love Big Snowman. It's such a great song. I'd say this is probably one of my favorite songs in all of Snowboard Kids. Yeah, I have to go this way at least one. But yeah, this whole thing is a vibe check, more or less. Get to hear all the good feels in this song right here. Purple chest is another Triforce piece. We're getting some good stuff today. And we're not even an hour in yet still. That's kind of the wild part about this. That's just how Randomizer do, I guess. Wrong shot. Get the lag off my screen. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're going places now. We're going places now. Should just call this place Value Palace. Probably the best pod I've seen in ages. And it was actually front-loaded for a change too, which is even crazier. There we go. That's another check down at least, I guess. That's the most disappointing thing so far though, in all honesty. So that key on that island basically broke the whole scene wide open. There we go. This music is a vibe. Alright, fun time. Ice rod. Okay, nice rod. We got an okay basement so far? Yeah, it's okay. More money for keys, I guess. More money for keys is absolutely not a bad thing, though. Especially when you like pull up normally dead checks like Hellway right here, you know. That is normally a check you do when you have like nothing left to check, because it often just returns what you put into it, and it's not that good. Okay, we're not at the chest yet. There it is. Ooh, okay. Not a bad chest, actually. Oh, okay, buddy. You're a douchebag, and I want to kill you. He took like 1,000,000 health from me, for other than the fact he wanted to be a gigantic douchebag. Went over a little bit too far. I don't want to go through the dark room again. What's going on, Mo? How you doing? Actually don't need to go that way. I was thinking about doing the loop again just to get to this part, but since we have, like, all the doors open, it doesn't matter too much. Probably better just to do it this way. Alright, we gotta do this the old-fashioned way. We don't have Mario. Old-fashioned way. Hydrate check. Hydrating is good for you, chat. We're an hour in, so hydrate, stretch, and we're gonna keep this thing rolling along as quick as we can, as wonderfully as we can. Alright, so pop. We're gonna go ahead and do this. Go through door. Plop the hammer. Oh, excuse me? Uh-oh. That's a problem. We have a fairy, though. Going. I can't see shit. Do this. I don't know if it actually did anything. Ow. Did nothing. Ah! They are pest. That's one way to spend a fairy. Maybe if I reset the room, that would work. Ow. Ow. Yeah, that's one of them. Should be one more, I think? There's definitely one more in here. Fucking die. Still one more. There it is. Alright, we did it, chat. We burned through a lot of resources doing that, but we did it. Meanwhile, the boss is actually the easiest part. Oh, it's boss shuffle. Okay. But that's still okay. We rolled a good boss for this room in all honesty. It's green Argus. You like alien life forms. Don't let it near your cats. Alright, so that was kind of sus, but we did it. Take those. There we go. Getting it off my tracker. Alright, so we can go ahead and head over to the old man's house, grab some stuff. We'll refill that bottle because that actually ended up saving us. What do you got for us today, buddy? Absolutely nothing. Cool. I know the back of your house has a piece in it though, so not that bad. This wasn't an entirely wasted check. A third bottle. You know what? Go peek in Eastern for a bit. Eastern has a lot of free checks that don't require too much other than a small dark room. That is nowhere near as murderous as that other one was. Probably the easiest dark room in the game, actually. Ski. Compasses are good because they tell you how many items are in a dungeon. Okay, game. Alright. It's almost as if it was destiny to come in here. Amazing. Such value. Wow. The real question is, since we know this is boss shuffle now, where is Trinex? Like, I've got this really dreading suspicion Trinex is actually up here. which would be in a really interesting spot. Like, it wouldn't be heavily punishing for you to go all that way without being able to clear it, as opposed to like other dungeons where it would absolutely suck. I have already figured that out, thanks game. We're getting dangerously close to finishing, I'm noticing. But that is the nature of Nacho Hunt. Nacho Hunt, even with like key sanity and all this various other stuff, can sneak up on you really fast. And with Lamp, this is a breeze. And boots. I've been forgetting that. I also don't mind because I move better without boots. I guess it's a strength and or flaw of mine, depending on how you want to take it. Get out of my way. We are dangerously close to finishing. More so now. Do we know of any outstanding pieces? Give me all your money. Not even inflating content for the sake of inflation. Well, this gives us a red crystal, assuming we can actually clear the boss. Which we have what we need for most of the bosses in the game, except for Trinox. Try Neki. A little bit of finesse here. Boop, 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 boop. Good finesse. Way to go, me. I'm proud of you. Oh, it's vanilla. Neat. If I had turned left, I might have actually gotten that. Hey, thanks for the refill, though. Okay, we have boots now, so we can actually do a little bit more stuff. Go do more stuff, shall we? As we look for this last piece, whatever the heck. Guess we can turn and go to King's Tomb. King's Tomb is almost always trash, but we're gonna just test our luck. I say almost always, not all, like definitely always. Been some really off-the-wall checks that have decided races in this little place. Nothing useful. Get tickled. So the red soldiers are like Tickle Me Elmo dolls, I guess. You remember those things being all the holiday range when we were younger? Oh boy. I mean, that face says a lot. So... That's great. Do I want to go further? No, I still don't have fire on. Never mind. No sense in going into Skullwoods. Or Thieves Town again. We know that's trash. Froggo! Time for Froggo to get a workout. Been standing there all this time, hopping around, waiting for someone to rescue him. He needs to go stretch his legs, you know? Yum. I'm not gonna run away from that. Always useful. You have been rescued, frog. Oh wait, we know a Triforce piece is in this. Okay, no, we're good actually. Because we read hints on tiles. But it's not that that's the important part, it's the turn in for the lunchbox. Lunchbox. Well, okay then. You know what? We're just kind of done. But we have time to fill. So, you know, as we stare at the Slimer Ecto Cooler for High C right there in that water, we just run our way up here to finish. Like, I need to figure out what we're playing next. I definitely need to figure out what we're playing next. Because we have another hour before Shadow's on. I was expecting that to go longer, but such is the nature of Nacho Hunt. Very, very random. Well, you can all enjoy Snowboard Kids music for a bit, and I'm gonna figure out what we're playing next, so I'll be back in a couple minutes. Time for Garlic Land. I don't even remember that game. That'd be completely blind out the rear. Yeah, back in a couple. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for the GG shot. So we have an hour to fill now. Oh, jeez. Alright. Things I wasn't expecting to. Let's dig into our pile of SNES games and figure it out. Sticking specifically to SNES so I don't have to recrop everything. If I go quiet, I'm just thinking through my list of SNES things that I have. A large pile of SNES. Many a thing I have never played before. And many a thing on this list I see that I know I do not like. So... Oh, jeez. See what our stats are like too, so it'll tell us in a moment. It's hard, like, balancing what I'm going to play here, because I either have played it already this marathon, or I'm going to be playing it this marathon. So, like, the list is just, like... I am picking something at random, I think, until my eyes actually settle on something. I've seen one thing I wouldn't mind playing. I'm half tempted to scroll back to it. Choices. What's a flute? We don't know. Three bunks. $111. Wow, fast seed. Very fast seed. Oh, you know what? That's perfect. Okay, we're going with this, fam. I am gonna whip out something from my childhood that not many people have seen me play. And we're gonna have a good time. For like another hour or so. I think I may have shown this off errantly during one marathon in previous years where I had a bunch of free time to have. I'm surprised they did the fade out instead of the actual ending to that. Eh, whatever, I guess. Alright, stand by. And we'll restart the timer again. So you've got about at least an hour 10 before the estimate would be fulfilled. I know everything in this game except for one thing in particular. One thing in particular is super confusing to me. And it's something I have to look up every time I do it, but we shall do that, fam. We shall. There